In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 college basketball games happening on January 8, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 college basketball games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Connecticut versus Villanova. It's a battle of Big East foes on the hardwood as a pair of squads lock up in the city of brotherly love looking to pick up a victory. The number 9 Connecticut Huskies are on the road as they travel to take on the Villanova Wildcats Wednesday night. Connecticut comes in off an 87-84 home win over Providence Sunday in their previous game, though they failed to cover the line as a 14.5-point favorite. Villanova steamrolled DePaul 100-56 at home in their previous game Saturday, covering the line as a 9-point favorite. In the all-time series between the teams, the Huskies own a 32-22 advantage and have won the last 4 meetings, including a 78-54 home win in the most recent matchup on February 24, 2024. Well, either we're going to look like geniuses for fading the back-to-back champs, or there's the potential that we look foolish. But considering Villanova is at home and in the midst of a 7-1 straight-up stretch of basketball, I think it's worth a flyer on the Wildcats to cover the spread in this game. The Cats also have slim advantages in both turnovers per game and rebound rate. This building is going to be rocking since Villanova has a chance to knock off number 9 Connecticut, and I think it's worth a shot to say they cover in this game. So the Villanova Wildcats to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Both of these teams are capable of putting up points on the offensive end of the floor while also being average on the defensive end. Connecticut is second in the nation in offensive efficiency, 13th in effective field goal percentage, 26th in turnover percentage, 65th in offensive rebounding percentage, 15th in 2-point shooting, and 51st in 3-point shooting. The Huskies are 298th in the nation in adjusted tempo with 65.7 possessions a night. Villanova is 7th in offensive efficiency, 6th in effective field goal percentage, 62nd in turnover percentage, 29th in offensive rebounding percentage, and 2nd in 3-point shooting. The Wildcats are a very slow-paced team, ranking 345th in tempo with 64.3 possessions a game. These have been 2 of the best offenses in the country this year. Connecticut is 2nd in the nation in adjusted offensive efficiency, averaging 125 points per 100 possessions. Villanova is 7th in the same category. The Huskies are 20th in field goal percentage and 51st in 3-point shooting, while the Wildcats are 27th and 2nd in those respective categories. Additionally, the key metric that could help us get over this number is free throw percentage. Each team ranks 14th or better from the charity stripe this season, each making at least 78.7% of their free throws. On the flip side, each defense is ranked 134th or worse in adjusted defensive efficiency, so the offenses are primed to get this game over the total. It'll be tight, and it's going to be a slower-paced game, but we can't ignore how efficient these offenses have been. Both teams are juggernauts offensively. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Florida State versus Miami, Florida. The Florida State Seminoles, boasting a 10-4 overall record, a 9-5 record against the spread, and a 6-7-1 over-under mark, will face off against the Miami Hurricanes, who are 4-10 overall, 3-11 against the spread, and 8-5-1 over-under. This Atlantic Coast Conference clash is set to take place on Wednesday evening. Florida State comes into the matchup on the heels of a home victory against Syracuse in their most recent game. Meanwhile, Miami is looking to recover after a tough road loss to Virginia Tech last Saturday. Adding to the storyline, the Seminoles dominated the Hurricanes last season, winning both of their encounters. Miami finds itself in a peculiar position entering its 3rd consecutive game with a point spread under 2, a reflection of the oddsmakers' continued uncertainty about how to evaluate the team's new coaching situation. The Hurricanes were narrowly favored in each of their last 2 games, both of which ended in losses, a 68-78 defeat to Boston College as 1.5-point favorites and an 85-86 loss to Virginia Tech as 1-point favorites. Now back on their home court after 2 road games, the Hurricanes might hope for better results, but there is little reason for significant optimism about their performance moving forward. Florida State has fared much better against the spread this season, with a solid 9-5 record compared to Miami's dismal 3-11 mark. The Seminoles are riding a wave of confidence, having secured victories in 3 of their last 4 outings. In contrast, the Hurricanes are enduring a prolonged slump, losing 9 of their last 10 games, including setbacks against Boston College and Virginia Tech. Florida State holds a clear advantage on the defensive end of the court, where they have excelled. The Seminoles are limiting opponents to just 100 points per 100 possessions, a significant contrast to the Hurricanes' 111.5 points allowed per 100 possessions. Additionally, Miami has struggled to remain competitive, suffering double-digit losses in 3 of their last 4 games against major conference opponents. So the Florida State Seminoles to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Florida State has consistently delivered high-scoring performances, reaching 75 or more points in 9 of their last 10 games, including a 90-point showing on Saturday. This bodes well for them against a Hurricanes defense that ranks a dismal 335th in Division I in field goal defense. On the offensive side, Miami has shown some capability, averaging 77 points over their last 5 games and scoring 74 points in their most recent home outing. The Seminoles' up-tempo style of play is likely to create opportunities for Miami to rack up points as well. However, Florida State has also displayed defensive lapses, surrendering 90 and 74 points in their past 2 games. Notably, the over has hit in 4 of Miami's last 5 games. Both teams have seen the over cash in their last 2 games since beginning full-time Atlantic Coast Conference play. Of those matchups, only 1 game would have fallen short of exceeding this game's projected total of 154.5 points. Additionally, the absence of Nigel Pack for the Hurricanes could impact their scoring potential, but the over remains 3-0-1 in Miami's game since Pack was sidelined. With both teams positioned for a high-scoring affair, I anticipate an offensive showcase. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Southern California versus Indiana. The Southern California Trojans are set to continue their inaugural journey in the Big Ten Conference this Wednesday evening as they head to Indiana to face the Hoosiers. So far this season, the Trojans hold a 9-5 record with a 1-2 standing in Big Ten play. In contrast, the Hoosiers have had an impressive start to the season, currently boasting a 12-3 record, and they have won 3 of their first 4 games in conference action. This game represents a significant challenge for the Trojans as they try to adjust to the new competition in the Big Ten. These 2 prominent college basketball programs have faced off only 3 times in their histories, with the most recent meeting occurring in 1974. The Trojans have had a somewhat rough transition into Big Ten play so far, and things may not improve for them in this upcoming matchup. Indiana holds the advantage in nearly every area of the game, especially in the battle on the boards. The Hoosiers outpaced the Trojans by an average of 7 rebounds per game, making rebounding a potential key area of dominance for them. Beyond that, Indiana's shooting prowess is another area where they surpass Southern California. They are making an average of 2 more field goals per game than the Trojans, all while taking 5 additional shots per game. Indiana has looked extremely strong after their defeat in the Big Ten opener against Nebraska. The impressive play of Ballo has been a driving force behind their current success, and the team boasts 4 players who each score at least 12 points per game. At home, Indiana holds a solid 6-4 record against the spread at Assembly Hall this season. The Hoosiers are expected to control the interior with the dominant play of Ballo, a major factor in their success against the Trojans. While Indiana will once again be without the services of Renault, they demonstrated their depth during a victory over Penn State on the road this past weekend. When it comes to rebounding, Indiana should have no trouble asserting their dominance, as Southern California ranks just 304th in the nation for total rebounds per game. The Hoosiers are efficient on both ends of the court and are currently undefeated at home with a perfect 10-0 record. It is likely that Indiana will assert their strength in the paint, which will create open opportunities for shooters like Good and MG Bako on the perimeter. Therefore, the Indiana Hoosiers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. When it comes to shooting accuracy, both teams perform above average, with Indiana ranking within the top 50 nationally for field goal shooting and the Trojans just outside that range. For Southern California to remain competitive in this matchup, they will need to rely on their perimeter shooting, where they rank 131st in the country in 3-point shooting percentage. The rebounding battle heavily favors Indiana, which will allow them to dictate the tempo and pace of the game. As such, expect the game to be played at a fast pace, especially considering that Indiana ranks 80th in the nation in terms of pace of play. In terms of scoring efficiency, both teams currently rank in the bottom half of the Big Ten as they work to find consistency on offense. The Trojans are ranked 100th in Ken Palm's adjusted offensive efficiency and 174th in tempo, suggesting that they are unlikely to turn this game into a high-scoring affair. Indiana is not much faster either, ranking 53rd in adjusted offense and 80th in tempo. However, the difference is not enough to keep the game from being relatively high-scoring. Indiana has been prolific on offense recently, scoring 77 points in each of their last 3 games and in 9 games so far this season. Before their 74-point performance against Michigan, Southern California had scored at least 82 points in 4 consecutive games. With both teams showing the ability to score, the over has hit in 15 of their combined games this season. Thus, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Arizona State versus Kansas. On Wednesday night, 2 10-win Big 12 teams will face off in Lawrence as the Sun Devils and Jayhawks meet on the hardwood. The Sun Devils, with a record of 10-3 straight up and 9-4 against the spread, are coming off a commanding victory over Colorado on Saturday, winning 81-61 as 5.5-point favorites at home. Meanwhile, the number 11 ranked Jayhawks, who also have a 10-3 straight up record but are 7-6 against the spread, delivered a dominant 99-48 win over UCF on Sunday as 5-point favorites on the road. Kansas enters this game on the heels of an impressive 51-point road win at UCF. However, they did drop their previous home game by a single point to West Virginia. Historically, Kansas is incredibly tough to beat at home, so they will likely be eager to bounce back with a strong performance in front of their home crowd. As for Arizona State, this is a team that has caught my attention. With a 10-3 record, they have secured some solid victories over teams like St. Mary's, Grand Canyon, and New Mexico, and they've also faced off against some high-ranking opponents like Florida and Gonzaga. While they may not be intimidated by the hostile environment at the Fog, the Sun Devils will still face a stiff challenge in this matchup. Kansas is known for being efficient on both offense and defense, but they don't always pull away from teams because their three-point shooting can be limited. However, they excel in defense and especially in rebounding, particularly defensive rebounding. If any team hopes to defeat Kansas, they must capitalize on their initial shots, as failing to do so could spell trouble. Arizona State, unfortunately, struggles with rebounding, which will be a significant issue for them on Wednesday. Furthermore, Arizona State's lack of depth could hurt them in a tough road environment. The Sun Devils' top player is an interior player, and no, it is not Cam Skatibo, and they will face a tough matchup against Kansas, with Hunter Dickinson and his teammates patrolling the paint. The last time these two teams met on the court was in 2018, when Arizona State managed to pull off an 80-76 victory as 3-point underdogs at home. This could be a tricky spread for the Jayhawks to cover, but given their recent performance against UCF, anything is possible. In this particular matchup, the Jayhawks are superior on both ends of the floor compared to the Sun Devils, but the real question is by how much. While the offensive production of both teams is fairly close, Kansas is the more efficient shooting team, hitting 3 more field goals per game on average. However, simply outshooting Arizona State may not be enough. The Jayhawks also have a clear advantage on the boards, averaging over 2 more rebounds per game than the Sun Devils. Their greatest edge, though, may come in the turnover department. Kansas defense should be able to apply enough pressure on Arizona State to force turnovers, while they themselves are unlikely to commit many mistakes. The Jayhawks will need all of these factors to align in their favor, but after such a dominant win over UCF, they should come into this game with plenty of confidence. Over their last 4 games, Arizona State has gone 2-2 against the spread, while Kansas has posted a 3-1 straight-up record in that same span. Arizona State lacks the necessary height and length to match up against Hunter Dickinson, and they are not a strong rebounding team, which is why I would confidently lay 12.5 points with Kansas in this matchup. Covering a double-digit spread may be challenging, but the Jayhawks are undeniably a better offensive unit than the Sun Devils, who rely too heavily on three-point shooting. Kansas is excellent at taking care of the basketball, ranking 29th in turnover percentage at 14.7%, and they will likely look to attack the rim relentlessly throughout the game. While Arizona State will win some games this season, I don't think they will be able to hold their own against Kansas in this particular matchup. So the Kansas Jayhawks to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. If you are someone who likes to follow betting trends, you might be interested to know that the under has hit in Arizona State's last 6 games overall and in Kansas' previous 10 games. However, I expect the Jayhawks to score a lot of points in the paint, while the Sun Devils will attempt to counter with 3-pointers. Arizona State ranks 86th in the country in three-point rate at 43.2% and 40th in three-point percentage at 37.6%. The Sun Devils average 69 possessions per 40 minutes, while the Jayhawks log 70 possessions per 40 minutes. After their 99-point outburst against UCF, Kansas could easily score 80 or more points against Arizona State. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.